Hello, my dear students. This is Aritra Chakraborty. Today, I am going to discuss about DC generator. Today is the first lecture of my presentation. So, first slide is the introduction of DC generator. In the year of 1831, the initial electromagnetic generator, that is known as Faraday's disc, was invented by the famous British scientist Michael Faraday. So a DC generator is an electrical device which is used for generating electrical energy. Or you can say a DC generator is an electrical device which is used to convert the mechanical energy into electrical energy. The main function of this device is to change mechanical energy into electrical energy. So there are several types of mechanical energy sources available. These are known as prime mover. So what is prime mover? Prime mover is a device which is used to supply the torque to the shaft of a DC generator. So there are various types of prime movers. These are like hand cranks, internal combustion engine, this is IC engine, water turbine, gas steam turbine, etc. And after generation of the voltage, it is fed to the power grid for distribution purpose. So from the above introduction, we can say that a DC generator or direct current generator is one kind of electrical machine whose function is to convert mechanical energy to direct current. Now, the next slide is the basic principle of DC generator or the basic working principle of DC generator. A DC generator working principle is based on Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. When a conductor is located in a magnetic field, an electromotive force gets induced within the conductor. The induced EMF magnitude can be measured from the equation of EMF equation of the generator. So what will happen? If we placed a conductor between two magnetic pole, then it cuts. If the conductor cuts the magnetic pole flux, then what will happen? An EMF is induced in the conductor. And if the conductor is present with a closed lane or path or loop, the current which is induced will flow in the path or lane. In this generator, field coil will generate an electromagnetic field as well as the armature conductor are turned into the field. Therefore, an electromagnetically induced EMF will be generated within the armature conductor, and the path of induced EMF or induced current will be provided by Fleming's right hand rule. As we can see here, the Fleming's right hand rule, the direction of the current, field and the motion of conductor. The three finger, one is thumb, one is index finger, another is the middle finger, are placed each other from an angle of 90 degree. If the thumb shows the motion of conductor, then the field direction is shown by the index finger and the direction of current is shown by the middle finger. Now, from the above GIF, we can also discuss the working principle of the DC generator. Here you can see two numbers of poles are present. One is colored by red, another is blue. And these are two poles, and between these two poles there are several numbers of magnetic lines of forces or magnetic flux, and a conductor is rotating between these two poles, and it is rotating by the mechanical force, and it cuts the magnetic flux, or it acts with the magnetic flux, and then there is a voltage is induced. The nature of the voltage is alternating, because whenever the flux cut by the conductor, there is a rate of change of flux is occurred. That means there is a alternating voltage is produced, and it is collected by the brushes, two carbon brushes, and it is supplied to the galvanometer. There is a galvanometer is connected with the conductor or with the armature. This galvanometer's pointer is deflected from 0 to positive value and as well as from 0 to negative value. So we can understand that the induced voltage is alternating in nature. So in case of DC generator, if the induced voltage is alternating in nature, so how can we get the direct current or direct voltage? By the help of a special device or apparatus named commutator, we can convert the alternating voltage into direct current. Now the next slide is the construction of DC generator. There is a constructional image of DC generator. You can see here an engine is coupled with a generator. The green colored apparatus is the coupling, and the red color device is the yoke or outer cover of the generator, and it is installed above the foundation. The generator comprises of several parts like yoke, poles and pole shoes, field winding, armature core, armature winding, commutator and brushes. But the two essential part or the two main parts are the static part, that is stator, and the rotating part, that is known as rotor. Stator is an essential part of DC generator, and the main function of this part is to provide the magnetic field where the coils are rotating or where the armature is rotating. This includes the stable magnets where two of them are with reverse pole facing. That means there must be a pair of pole is present. If there is a north pole, then there is also a south pole is present, and which is connected to the static part or stator. These magnets are located to fit in the region of the rotor. Now the rotor or armature core. Rotor or armature core is the second essential part of the DC generator. It includes slotted iron. Slotted iron means there are several numbers of or several types of slot are used in case of DC generator. What is the function of slot? These slots holds the conductor or holds the winding. In case of high speed DC generator, we are used to use the open closed slot or semi closed slot. In case of low speed generator, we are use the open slot. Now these armature slots and armature cores are not solid. These are laminated. What is the meaning of lamination? lamination means the thin chips of iron or steel plates are connected with each other by the hydraulic pressure, and it is connected by nut bolts. So there is a air gap between the each plate. So this is known as the laminated slot. This laminated slot is offered to decrease the loss. This is known as the eddy current loss. So to minimize the eddy current loss, we have to use the laminated slot. Now the next part is the cross-sectional view of the DC generator. You can see here the cross-sectional view of a DC generator. The outer part of the DC generator is called frame or yoke, and there are several numbers of poles. There are 4 poles are present, 2 north pole and 2 south pole, and between these poles the interpoles are present. Commutator, armature conductor, field windings, shaft, commutator segments and pole shoe are also present. So these are the several numbers of parts of a DC generator. Now the first is the armature winding. The armature core slots are mainly used for holding the armature windings. So the armature windings are connected in the armature slot. These are in a closed circuit winding form. So what is the meaning of winding? When the numbers of coils are connected in series, this is known as winding. And it is connected in series to parallel for enhancing the sum of produced current. Now the next slide is yoke. So what is yoke? Yoke is the outer cover of DC generator. It is made by a high permeability material, that is a ferromagnetic material like cast iron, silicon steel or other steels. It gives the necessary mechanical power for carrying the magnetic flux given through the poles. Now the next part is the poles. These are mainly used to hold the field windings. Usually these windings are wound on the poles. There must be even number of poles are present in a DC generator. It may be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 in numbers. And they are connected in series, otherwise parallel, by the armature winding. In addition, the pole will give the joint towards the yoke with the welding method, otherwise by using the screws. Next, the pole shoes. What is pole shoe? Pole shoe is a shoe-like construction above the pole. It is mainly used to spreading the magnetic flux or to increase the magnetic flux area of the pole. So by using the pole shoe, the flux linkage area is also increased. Then the rate of change of flux is also increased. That means by the help of pole shoe, we can increase the induced EMF also. And as well as to avoid the field coil from falling, it is also used. Now the commutator. Commutator is nothing but a rotating rectifier. It is used to convert the AC voltage induced in the armature to the DC voltage, and within the armature winding to across the brushes. It is designed with a copper segment. There are several numbers of copper segments are present in a commutator, and each copper segment is protected from each other with the help of thin mica sheets. It is located on the shaft of the machine. So it acts as a rectifier. That means it just convert the alternating induced EMF to the direct current by the help of commutation. The process is known as commutation. Now, brushes. The electrical connection can be ensured between the commutator as well as the external load circuit or the load resistance with the help of the brushes. Brushes are made by the carbon, and the main properties of brushes are: number 1, it is a solid lubricant; number 2, it is a good conductor of electricity; and number 3 is the very most important, it is a good insulating or insulator of heat. It means it can absorb the heat or it acts as a cooling medium also. Now, the next slide is the EMF equation. The EMF equation of DC generator according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction is EG, that is the generated EMF or induced EMF, equals to P phi Zn by 60 into A. Here, phi is the flux per pole in Weber. Z is the total number of armature conductor, equals to 2 into the turns, 2 into the number of turns. P is the number of poles in a generator, it must be even in number. A is the number of parallel paths or parallel lanes within the armature. What is parallel path? The conductor present between the two brushes is called the parallel path, or you can say the parallel conductor between two brushes are called the parallel path. And N is the rotation of the armature in revolution per minute, that is the speed of the generator in RPM, and EG is the generated EMF. You can see here there is a north pole and south pole, and between these two poles there is several numbers of magnetic lines of forces or magnetic flux. If the conductor placed between them cut the magnetic flux, then there is a voltage is induced, and this voltage or EMF is known as EG or generated EMF. So this is the EMF equation of DC generator. Now, there are various types of winding in a DC generator. These are known as lap winding and wave winding. So first one is the lap winding. In lap winding, the consecutive coils overlap each other. So there is a overlapping in case of lap winding. The first end of the winding is connected to the one segment of the commutator, and the starting end of the other coil is placed under the same magnet and joined with the same segment of the commutator. This is the lap winding. And in case of lap winding, the parallel path or parallel lanes equals to number of pole. That means in case of lap winding, A equals to P. If the number of pole is increased, then the parallel path also increased. The same number of pole and same number of parallel path in case of lap winding. And where the lap winding is used? In case of low voltage high current generator, the lap winding is used. And the next one is the wave winding. The one end of the coil is connected to the starting end of the other coil, which has the same polarity as that of the first coil. The coils are connected in the wave shape, and hence it is called the wave winding. In case of wave winding, the parallel path or A equals to always 2. That means the parallel conductor between two brushes is always 2, and the wave winding is used for the high voltage low current generator. So this is the image of the lap winding. You can see here coil 1 and coil 2 overlapping with each other, and it's connected to the commutator segment. And this is the wave winding. The shape of this winding like wave. There are two coils are connected like a wave shape. Now the next slide is the classification. The DC generator can be classified into mainly two categories. Number one, the self-excited DC generator, and number two, the separately excited DC generator. And self-excited DC generator can be classified into three categories. Number one, series. Number two, shunt-wound. And number three, compound. And the compound DC generator can be classified into two categories. One is long shunt, another is short shunt. So now the first one is the separately excited DC generator. So this is the circuit diagram of a separately excited DC generator. In separately excited type, the field coils are energized or excited or strained from an autonomous exterior DC source. That means you can see here a field winding and armature, and the field winding is connected with a battery or external DC source, and there is a field adjusting rheostat is connected in series with the field winding. So what is the function of this field adjusting rheostat? It just increase or reduce the field current, and then the field excitation is increased or reduced. And there is a armature, and the armature is connected to the output terminals or the external load. That means the field is energized from an outer source or from and separated DC source. So this type of generator is called separately excited DC generator. Now the next part is the self-excited DC generator. In self-excited type, the field coils are strained from the generated current with the generator. That means the current which is induced in the armature is supplied to the field coil, and the generation of the first EMF, first electromotive force, will occur because of its outstanding magnetism within field poles. What is this? Actually, at first, when there is no excitation is provided to the field coil, that means if there is no current is produced in the armature, then the coils are not energized or the field poles are not excited. At that time, due to the outstanding magnetism or due to the residual magnetism, a small amount of flux is always present between two poles, and the conductor cuts this flux, and a fractional value of voltage is produced in the armature, and a fractional value of current is supplied to the field coils, and hence the field is energized, and therefore which will increase the field flux as well as the electromotive force generation is occurred. Further, this type of DC generator can be classified into three categories, that is series wound, shunt wound and compound wound. So you can see the image of a series generator and shunt generator. In case of series generator, the armature is connected with the field in series, and in case of shunt generator, the armature and field is connected in parallel. and the generated EMF in the armature is supplied the DC the alternating current to the field coil, and this alternating current is converted into direct current by the help of the commutator, and it is supplied to the field winding in case of series generator, and after that it is supplied to the external load circuit. And in case of shunt generator, the DC current is induced in the armature is supplied to the load circuit and as well as to the shunt field winding. So there are two parallel circuits are formed in case of shunt generator. So the IA or the armature current is divided into two parts. One is ISH, which is supplied to the field circuit resistance, that is RSH, and IL, that is the load current, is supplied to the external load circuit. In case of series generator, the field winding resistance is very small, and in case of shunt generator, the field winding resistance is very high. So these are the series and shunt tuned generator. Now the compound generator. So there are mainly two types of compound generator. One is long shunt, one is short shunt. So in case of long shunt generator, the shunt field winding is parallel with both armature and series field winding, and in case of short shunt compound generator, the shunt field winding is connected in parallel with the armature winding also only. So you can see here, in case of short shunt compound, the induced current in armature, that is IA, is supplied to the external circuit, and this IA is divided into two current. One is ISH, it is supplied to the shunt field resistance, and the IL is supplied to the series field and as well as to the load circuit. And in case of long shunt compound, the IA is flowing through the series field resistance, and after that it is divided into two parts. One is ISH, which is supplied to the shunt field resistance, that is RSH, and the IL is supplied to the external load circuit or external load resistance. So this is the compound generator. Thank you.